Hey everybody, welcome to Rob's Wrestling Reviews. This is my review of Royal Rumble 2015. Oh wait, no, wasn't that? Oh right, this is Elimination Chamber 2018. We'll go through match by match, but we know what we're eventually getting to. First match of the night was the Women's Elimination Chamber for the Raw Women's title. This I thought was a really good match. This is probably the better of the two chamber matches, in my opinion. Though the chamber match coming up had a lot bigger spots, I think the overall work was better in this match. Absolution ended up not mattering at all in this match, even though they kept hyping up how them teaming up was going to affect everything. They ended up being completely inconsequential to the finish. They were eliminated rather quickly. Bayley and Sasha Banks was really the story in this match. It was basically waiting for Sasha to turn on Bayley, though they didn't really make it sound like, they didn't really make it look like Sasha was turning heel per se, just trying to win the match. I thought that was kind of odd, but Alexa Bliss in this match was absolutely brilliant. I thought she was great in this match. Her trying to close the pod, then them opening it, and her running out, then her running out on the other side, I thought was a good gag. And then her trying to climb up the cage and the other two following her, I thought that was a pretty good spot, even though it didn't really end up with a really big, really big fall or anything. I thought it was a good gag. It really came down to Alexa climbing up onto one of the pods. Sasha started going after her, then Bayley was coming up like behind Sasha, which led to Sasha Banks kicking Bayley off to be her big haha, which ended up leading nowhere because finally, once Bayley and Sasha Banks got into their match, it ended up costing them both. Bayley was able to hit a second rope belly to Bayley on the Sasha Banks, and Alexa rolled up Bayley, eliminating her. Then there was a really good back and forth between Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. A lot of times you weren't really sure if Sasha Banks was going to win or not, but eventually Alexa Bliss was able to hit a top rope DDT for the win. The real story is the post-match promo by Alexa Bliss, which was fantastic. Alexa Bliss started out, she was crying. It looked like she was going to make this big face turn, talking about how this win was for every little girl that ever wanted to be something. And then right as the fans were eating it up, she says, and none of you will ever be as good as me. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. She was great at this. Next match, which I did not see all of, I only saw about the second half of this match, was Titus Worldwide, Titus and Apollo versus The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. What I saw was okay. It looked like any standard Raw match to me. Sheamus had a botch that almost looked like he meant to. Once he did the botch, he owned up to it and started admonishing the crowd once they started egging him on, and which led to him eating a Clash of the Titus, though it didn't for a okay near fall. I don't think anybody thought he was actually going. I don't think anybody thought Titus Worldwide was actually going to win these belts. But eventually, Apollo tagged in, got a couple spots in, and then he was getting Sheamus up for his spin out power bomb. Cesaro clipped him in the back of the leg. Sheamus picked him up for white noise, and Cesaro did actually a pretty cool springboard into the DDT finish that they use usually off the top rope. He did a really good springboard into it instead, which led to the bar picking up the win. Like I said, I don't think I missed too much missing part of this match. I don't think anything could have really been that great. It was subpar at best, probably I'd say mediocre. Up next we had Asuka versus Nia Jax. I thought this was actually a really good match. They really told a good story here with Nia Jax just using her brute strength against Asuka. It was pretty simple storytelling all along. Asuka trying to chop down the tree. They really did make Nia Jax look really strong in this match. There was one pretty scary looking botch. Nia Jax went to do a flip senton onto Asuka, who it looked like she was supposed to roll out of the way, but did not roll out of the way on time, and Nia Jax landed pretty nastily on Nia Jax's leg. I'm hoping she was just selling and she did not actually get hurt, because it looked like it really hurt her leg. Hopefully that was just her selling and not something that could be serious. The finish came where Nia Jax went to do a power bomb onto Asuka, and Asuka countered it into a roll up for the win. Right after the pin, right as the referee raised her hand, Nia Jax comes from behind, attacks her, hits her with a leg drop, throws her out of the ring, throws her into the barricade, and the OMG moment popped up, and Nia Jax ran through Asuka through the barricade. So we got our barricade breaker moment. I actually thought this was a really good segment, really good ending. Keeps Nia Jax strong going into her eventual turn on Alexa Bliss that I think we all see coming. Then we have the biggest disappointment of the night as Broken Matt Hardy faces Bray Wyatt. This storyline could have gone so much better than it has if they would just let Matt Hardy do what he does best in this gimmick. But they've watered it down so badly, and at this point Bray Wyatt is such a joke that nobody in the crowd cared at all about this match. They did a little bit of Matt Hardy trying to use mind games at the early part of the match, where he disappeared right as Bray Wyatt entered the ring. All that was left was Matt Hardy's coat, and then all of his weird laughs started, and he kept repeating a chant, and which enraged Bray because he couldn't find Matt Hardy. He goes to look for Matt Hardy under the ring, thinking he'd be there, and nobody's there. He comes back, and Matt Hardy's up on the steps and jumps off and attacks. After that, this match was sadly pretty boring, and apparently the crowd thought so as well, because it was painfully obvious that there was a beach ball involved in the crowd, which is one thing that I absolutely hate about pay-per-views anymore, is people bringing the frickin' beach ball. As a wrestling fan for so many years, I really do think it's completely disrespectful. And then the crowd did the wave. At least Matt Hardy was like egged on the crowd to continue the wave as it went on. The end, Matt Hardy did finally pick up a win against Bray Wyatt, even though it doesn't really matter anymore. A wrestler picks up a win against Bray Wyatt. But he does win with the twist of fate. Then we have one of the more hyped moments of the night as Ronda Rousey is to sign her contract with WWE, even though everybody knows she already signed her actual WWE contract weeks ago. They really hammered it as like she's signing her official WWE contract, even though it was weird last week that Monday they said that she was going to be signing her Raw contract. But this segment was actually pretty good. I think everybody knew how it was going to go, but it was actually pretty good. First, Kurt Angle came out, then Triple H and Stephanie came out. They kept hyping up Ronda Rousey about her defining women's athletics and how they had to build an entire UFC division for her, and then they brought her out. She did have a Roddy Piper jacket, but I believe they finally got a fitted jacket this time because it didn't look like it was going to swallow her whole this time. At the beginning, the crowd was pretty negative at first, but Ronda Rousey really her promo really did feel genuine, that she was happy to actually be in the WWE, and after being able to live out her dream after getting Roddy Piper's blessing to use his moniker. She did get pretty choked up, and I think that actually turned the crowd around. They started really cheering for her. And then the inevitable came up, as just as she's getting ready to sign the contract, Kurt Angle finally speaks up and tells her how Triple H and Stephanie had been waiting since WrestleMania 31, even though he did slip up and initially start to say WrestleMania 21. He did catch himself and correct himself and said WrestleMania 31, and said Triple H even went so far to say it took 3 years, but now we own the bitch. Which Triple H tried to stop him from saying, which led to Ronda Rousey giving her "I'm going to kill you" look. Then Stephanie tried to smooth things over. That did not turn out too well. Ronda Rousey looked like she was getting ready to beat up Stephanie. Triple H came back in to try to defuse the situation, and Ronda Rousey does a back suplex onto Triple H through a table, which was a pretty good spot and got a really good pop. And then Stephanie decides to do probably the dumbest thing she's ever done and slap Ronda Rousey, which led to an entire "you effed up" chant from the crowd. I think it really put over Ronda as a babyface for now, setting up the eventual tag match at WrestleMania. I think they actually did a pretty good job here. We'll see how many appearances Ronda actually makes before then. They did make it sound like she was going to be on full time more often than not, but we'll see how that actually turns out. Then finally we have the 7-man Elimination Chamber for the chance to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. And here we go. The match was actually pretty well paced, which is one thing I can give. Braun Strowman looked like the beast he should look. He mauled through everyone, and then eventually had to eat the pin from Roman Reigns. This entire match felt like a rehash of Royal Rumble from 2015. What everybody knew was going to happen and nobody wanted to happen. And again, you have the guy who's the most over in the company having the job to the guy they want to push as the guy that don't you want to cheer Roman Reigns? No, we don't. You finally have a person who is extremely over with the crowd, who even matches the body type that they love, yet they still go with Roman Reigns. I will not understand this decision at all. This will be another WrestleMania where the crowd will boo Roman Reigns out of the building as he stands tall at the end of WrestleMania, and they walk out. Hopefully this time they don't try to cut the crowd sound like they did the last time Roman Reigns won the title at WrestleMania, because that went over so well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.